This evening, we discuss the queer headlines. Hotspots magazine spotlights stranger treats and beats in the upcoming issue on October 23rd. The event is a 3-night Halloween festival in Miami.
Rainbow Railroad helps LGBTQ people escape persecution in 70-plus countries, offering safety, dignity, and hope through global rescue efforts. Does the U.S. need a Rainbow Railroad?
Philadelphia will launch the country's first Pride Visitor Center celebrating inclusivity, queer history, and local artistry for America's 250th anniversary in 2026.
A federal judge halted Trump's funding threat against inclusive schools in a decision that affirms transgender students' rights.
24 transgender people in Indore, India attempted mass suicide amid violent power and financial feud. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. In 2025, our queer stories have reached 11 million streaming views, and Queer News Tonight has been the most watched LGBTQ news and lifestyle show in the world this year.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Happening Out is one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community.
We support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community and want to inform and educate on the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, and queer culture.
Our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience. Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ streaming stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our nonprofit 501c3 magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ+ community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Dale Stine. He's a celebrated photographer in the LGBTQ+ community. He's also the director of music ministry at the world famous Unity on the Bay. Also moderator of Miami Gay List. Welcome back, Dale. How you doing, boo?
Well, I am so happy to see you and so happy to be here as always with these fine, wonderful people at this table. And I just wanted to mention something that's coming up on November 7th at Sunshine Cathedral right here in our very own home. And that's with Miss Coco Peru, who is one of my favorite people on the planet. I've known Coco since, let's just say it was the last century. So I'm just gonna leave it. We've known each other we go way back. And but Coco Peru is one of the, if not, in my opinion, is the best storyteller I've ever heard. Well, in my opinion, best I've ever heard. It goes hand in hand. But November 7th, the tickets are almost sold out, but there are a few seats left. Sunshine Cathedral, you can go to MissCocoPeru.com and hear her give these amazing stories and sing and do all kinds of wonderful things. Just an amazing human being, very funny stories, but also very moving, heartfelt,
I love that.
see.
I love that. And you know, she's the one that has mentored all these drag queens that we love today, right? So you've got to see the history. You got to go check out the history. I remember when I went to P-Town, it was Varla who was talking about Coco. Yeah. It was Tina Burner who was talking about Coco because they were all there in P-Town.
Bianca Del Rio.
Bianca Del Rio loves her as well. So get your tickets today and go see Coco Peru right here at Sunshine Cathedral Square on November 7th, right?
November 7th.
And we'll see you all there. Let's welcome back to the table the incredible Glen Weinzimer. He has been a South Florida advocate for over 30 years, raising awareness and more than $16 million, that's million, with an M, for the HIV/AIDS community for 20 plus years. He's also a travel director and corporate events planner. That's what you do, Glenn. You know that since you gave up Bona, right? Since you sold Bona Italian restaurant, that was my favorite Italian restaurant.
We loved it.
Right? I felt that you were like Chandler Bing on Friends. I never knew exactly what was your other job. I just knew that you were always gone doing it.
And
you know what I mean?
How many times have you read this opening for me and you just picked up on that?
Again, I know. Isn't that crazy? So you're an event planner.
I'm an event planner.
He was still stuck on pasta.
Pasta and bike rides.
Right.
That's all she's ever been focused on.
Glenn, how are you doing? How are you
good.
feeling?
I'm feeling great. I've been home for a week, which is nice. I'm not traveling. I don't get back on the road for another like 10 days or something like that. So it's all great. Yeah, I got nothing. Last week I had a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. This week I letting everyone else have the spotlight.
We are glad to have Glen Weinzimer at the table today and always. Yes, let's welcome my Boricua brother to the table. He's Jason Núñez. Jason is a trailblazing leader, passionate entrepreneur, and fierce advocate for equality. He's the president and CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce, and as a third-generation minority Air Force veteran, he has served at the Pentagon, the White House, the State Department, and Department of Labor. I don't think I'm allowed at any of those places. Nah. Jason, GFLGLCC Dia de los Muertos Drag Brunch Bingo will be held on November 1st. Tell me what's happening out.
Absolutely. So on Saturday, November 1st, Wilton Manors will come alive with color and compassion as the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce presents the Dia de los Muertos Brunch Bingo at La Mexicana Taco Bar. The event will blend the lively traditions of Dia de los Muertos with the dazzling energy of South Florida's drag scene, hosted by the fierce Amy Drymouth. The brunch will feature hilarious bingo rounds, Latin-inspired dishes, and bottomless mimosas. Celebrate Diversity will present bingo, while partners Suitcases of Love and La Mexicana Taco Bar will unite to support charitable causes. Guests will win prizes, join raffles, and even earn a free shot when 69 is called. For details and reservations, visit GFLGLCC.org. So I'm super excited about this. One, culturally, Dia de los Muertos is huge for the Latin culture. But what's more important to me for this is that these are 3 chamber members all coming together to amplify our community, spread culture, everything. Latinos, context of food and drink, we could eat and drink all day. Add in brunch bingo with another Latina queen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great evening of education, dance, culture, food, music. La Mexicana Taco Bar has a full day programmed. The chamber is hosting the brunch bingo portion of it. That evening, they're going to have a DJ. They're going to have dancers, possibly mariachi. So lots of cultural events going on at La Mexicana Taco Bar.
I love that. So roll out of bed after Wicked Manor on Friday, right? You wake up Saturday and you go to brunch bingo. I mean, that's so perfect. Yeah. You had me at bingo. I mean, you know I love me some bingo, right? But also, Amy Drymouth is a great person. Her organization, Suitcases of Love, helps folks in Colombia, which is where I'm from, and so I love her and the nonprofit that she helps out over there. La Mexicana has incredible food.
Absolutely.
Can I tell you, incredible food? And you know, I go for the food. I mean, hello. So I mean, come on, you had me at Food and Bingo.
Yeah, they also just are introducing a few new array of different margaritas. So coming soon. Check out their menu.
So where exactly is the
La
restaurant?
Mexicana?
Yeah.
La Mexicana is in Wilton, right behind the Holy Cross, correct? Down the street on 25th.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I know exactly where it is. Perfect. So I haven't eaten there, and I'd love to go. And this sounds like a perfect opportunity to do it, and a fun day to do it with. And I love your organization and what you do. So this is a perfect way to do something fun and different.
Yes, absolutely. And congratulations again to Jason for having the skill, the know-how, the talent to get these 3 people to work together and collaborate, right? You're part of a chamber. Now you're teaching these folks how to work together. And we can't get ahead without working together in any 100%. Capacity. So I love that, right? Thank you, Jason.
Appreciate it.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the GFLGLCC Dia de los Muertos Drag Brunch Bingo on November 1st.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out's The FayWhat Show. Faye, Women for Paws Halloween Pickleball Pawty is on October 26th. Tell me, what's happening now?
Oh, I love this organization, and I'm so looking forward to this event. So Women for Paws will host its annual Halloween dog party on Sunday, October 26th from 4 to 8 p.m. at Dinkle Pickleball Complex. This year's celebration will transform into a lively Pickleball for Paws event. Participants will enjoy pickleball, playtime, a fun clinic, a raffle, and social activities throughout the evening. Families, friends, and their furry companions will gather for a costume-friendly event where dogs in Halloween attire will be highly encouraged. The event will serve as a fundraiser to help pet owners who need financial aid for their pets' medical emergencies. With limited player spots available, attendees are encouraged to register early. Women for Paws is a charitable 501c3 organization dedicated to animal welfare and pet retention. For more details and ticket prices, visit womenforpaws.org. So Grace Lopez is an incredible pillar of our community down in Miami. Dale, you know her. And so, you know, she left one organization and said she was going to start another one that was dear to her heart. And there's nothing more dear to her heart than her pets, right? So she started Women for Paws. She was encountering women who were getting breast cancer treatments and didn't have the money to take care of their dogs, right? People that had to go in for certain kind of treatments that had nowhere to leave their dogs. And that's where Women for Paws started. It's a beautiful thing. Every year they have this Halloween event, and this year they're doing pickleball. I mean,
Right.
you know, I'm actually pretty good at pickleball.
You are?
It's very surprising because I can't play tennis, and I'm not really.
I don't think if you're doing any sports.
I'm not that sporty lesbian, right? But
Right.
pickleball I can do. I got a pink bedazzled little racket,
Really?
and I'm ready.
That's so wild. Anything for the animal, you know, Grace does and her team do amazing work. I mean, the heart that she puts into everything she does is really a beautiful thing.
Yes.
It's really wonderful. And it really is so necessary. And it's a very specific niche in which she found an inroad into this.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful, and even more, and every day it's more needed than it was yesterday. In this climate.
You're not surprising anybody when you tell them that the economy's tough, that things are expensive, you know, but then your pets are supposed to be there to help you get through these health crises, right? And at that moment where you're wondering, maybe I'll put care off because I don't want to lose my pet, right? And so then now both parties are in danger, you know, and this is what Women for Paws wants to alleviate, you know?
Yeah.
Which is great because there's been other organizations based on like HIV and AIDS in the early days that did the same thing, where you had to choose between getting your medications, going to the hospital, or taking care of your pet. And a lot of people choose, especially the elderly, choose not to go to the hospital because there's no one to take care of the pets as they get older. And having organizations like this gives people a way to be able to take care of themselves, like you said, and also take care of their pets and make sure that there's food and they can see a doctor when they need it, both the animal and the person.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a great organization, and anything with pets, of course, is fantastic.
So womenforpaws.org. That's women for, the number 4, paws.org.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Women for Paws Halloween Pickleball Party on October 26th.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Hotspots magazine sheds light on Miami's Stranger Treats and Beats Halloween spectacle. Our Hotspots Happening Out LGBTQ lifestyle magazine, Hotspots, is back with a feature on one of Miami's most electrifying Halloween events, Stranger Treats and Beats, a 3-night festival that transforms Manor Wynwood into a supernatural playground where music, art, and mystery collide. Co-produced by AJ of Palace Productions and Trevor Gudger, the event promises what AJ calls a full-blown descent into the upside down of Miami nightlife. Expect cinematic production, massive LED walls, and world-class DJs like Roger Sanchez, Valentino Khan, A-Track, Mark Knight, and 3 Ball Mighty. Inspired by Stranger Things, the festival brings eerie red lighting, floating TV towers, and even hanging demogorgons. Right? Did I say it right?
You said it.
Yeah! Running from October 30th through November 1st, Stranger Treats and Beats is set to redefine Miami's Halloween weekend with a blend of queer celebration, fantasy, and fierce beats. This feature story and many more are included in your free copy of the upcoming issue of Hotspots magazine on stands tomorrow, October 23rd. You know, there's no better place to have an event like this than Manor Wynwood, all right? Because Manor Wynwood is ginormous. It's huge, right? I mean, you can get lost in that thing, and it's almost eerie by itself without putting anything in it, right? So I can only imagine what these folks are in store for down in Miami. And again, we live in South Florida, so you can't give us like a little POS event, right? Like, you've got to have the LED screen.
You got to bring it.
These boys know what they're doing, and you know them, right?
Yeah, I know AJ because AJ, as you mentioned in the story, is the general manager of Palace, and he's working with Trevor, who is quite a rather handsome firefighter.
He's a hottie bumbalati, I'll say it.
And then, of course, Lynn Evans of Project Publicity does his PR marketing, and the whole team is just amazing. And we did a photo shoot with AJ. I did a photo shoot with AJ and Trevor in Wynwood, because Mana, of course, is in Wynwood. So they wanted some PR photos that showed the neighborhood, what it's like, to give the vibe of all the graffiti and everything, So I think it's going to be a spectacular event because AJ, having been, and he also does other businesses as well. He had a cannabis business up north, and he's done a lot of different things. So he's quite a talent at pulling things together and creating quite the production.
Yeah, well, that's the way to say a production. You know what I mean? This is not just like a little haunted house with some toilet paper thrown around.
3 days.
You know what I mean?
It's 3 days.
3 days. And the list of DJs is like crazy. I mean, Roger Sanchez is one of the best known DJs in the world. And of course, we have Abel Aguilera from Miami, one of Miami's own, and DJ Journey. So there's a lot of talent that is local and yet international at the same time. It's going to be pretty spectacular.
Oh, so get those costumes ready again, because South Florida don't play. Again, just, you can't just put a sheet in 2 holes, all right, folks, because somebody's going to call you out on that in South Florida, all right, because we don't play.
At least put a harness on, because that's the look for everything,
That helps. That's how Glenn fixes his outfits daily. Just throws a harness on, and that's it. That is
It was a girdle, but it wasn't.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Dale Stine, and let's queer up the world view. Is the Rainbow Railroad a real thing? The answer is yes, it is. Across more than 70 countries, being lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or intersex can be life-threatening. That's where Rainbow Railroad steps in, helping LGBTQ people flee persecution and find safety. Founded in Toronto in 2006 by lawyers and activists, it is inspired by the Underground Railroad, the historic network that helped enslaved African Americans escape during the Civil War South. With offices in Toronto and New York, its team of 60 processes thousands of help requests each year, triaging by urgency and threat. When anti-gay purges erupted in Chechnya, Rainbow Railroad partnered with the Russian LGBT network to evacuate victims of state-sponsored torture. During the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan, the group helped resettle 247 LGBTQ Afghans in Canada, the UK, and Ireland within 10 months. Latoya Nugent, head of engagement at Rainbow Railroad, said, quote, "Our primary work supports individuals living in what we call countries of criminalization, places where it's illegal to be LGBTQI+. The persecution faced by our community is often deeply personal and not adequately understood or addressed in global protection systems," end quote. In 2025, many LGBTQ activists suggest that a secret Rainbow Railroad is underway in the USA. Especially noticeable are relocation needs for trans community members from one very unfriendly state to another. Queer News Tonight has reported the exodus of some members of our community from the USA to Canada, Mexico, and Europe. To date, Rainbow Railroad has aided nearly 15,000 people worldwide. Its mission remains urgent, providing safety, dignity, and hope for those whose very existence is under threat. This story is a wow. I mean, I have heard of the Rainbow Railroad before, but I've never really researched it or really had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
But the thing that is most disturbing is that it's now really disturbing to me as an American, is that it has really come home to roost. Disturbing, of course, for all the other countries. I don't mean to play that down at all. But the fact that now, I've been told by our producer, is that in 2024, the country with the most requests for help is what? The USA.
And who was 2023? Afghanistan.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly that part.
Wow,
So,
Dale.
How to this we've come. It's shocking. So this work, to say that it is important, is really an understatement.
Yeah.
But what amazing work. And such a small team of 60 people.
They're definitely too small.
I mean,
60 people undertaking such a huge task, right? I read somewhere that they presently have over 17,000 requests right now on their desk for folks that need to...
15,000 from the United States.
Well, yeah. And 15,000 from the United States. I mean, like, there's so many more people that are in danger, even here, that don't even know how to reach out to find this kind of safety net to get them moved. And you would never expect us as the USA to be even on that list. You'd think we would be the one they're coming to. And because of our politics in the last couple of years, we suddenly have created this fear that I think that we all collectively around this table feel in ourselves, despite living in one of the gayest places on planet Earth. You know, we also feel our governor, you know, banning books and erasing the rainbow on crosswalks. I mean, we just see this whole attack against and trying to erase our history. So yeah, it surprises me that we're higher than any other country. But then when you really sit down and think about what we're going through, it doesn't surprise me. But it's great to see that there are states within our country that are stepping in
to
help. You know, because this team of 60, I'm sure, and I hope they have the resources to reach these other people to assist them, because there's no way 60 people can help the amount of damage or danger around the world.
No.
Yeah, you know, so, I mean, the Rainbow Railroad is very, very real, and honestly, thank God it is. While we're out here picking costumes, some of our queer siblings are fighting for their freaking lives. These folks literally help LGBTQ plus people escape persecution. So while we party this Halloween, let's also support the heroes helping our community find safety, because freedom shouldn't depend on your zip code, and it seems to feel that way these days, you know?
Yeah.
It does. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Glen Weinzimer, and let's queer up the USA view. Philadelphia to open Pride Visitor Center for US's 250th celebration. Philadelphia, known as the city of brotherly love and birthplace of American democracy, is preparing to open one of the country's first LGBTQ plus visitor centers as part of the nation's 250th anniversary celebrations next year. The Philly Pride Visitor Center will debut early next year in the heart of Midtown Village, the city's LGBTQ plus neighborhood. In the words of Catherine Ott Lovell, president and CEO of the Philadelphia Visitor Center Corporation, quote, "We don't just welcome diversity, we celebrate it. Philadelphia is a city that shows up for everyone," end quote. The center is part of the city's preparations for the 2026 semi-quincentennia, expected to draw record crowds. It will offer travel planning, attraction ticketing, and information about queer-affirming destinations, along with a gift shop featuring work from queer artists and businesses. Angela Val, president and CEO of Visit Philadelphia, informed, quote, "The Philly Pride Visitor Center reflects our commitment to inclusive tourism and to make sure every traveler feels seen, welcome, and celebrated," end quote. Historical content will be curated by Mark Siegel, founder of Philadelphia Gay News. This is a big deal, but I don't think that they're really like one of the very first visitor centers. We know that here in Miami, it's been one around for at least a decade or
Miami Beach was 2010.
Right. So we've got more than 2 decades there. And I know that LA has had visitor center stuff, but this is great as a place where the Declaration of Independence and our country's freedom basically started, to have this center in Philadelphia. And especially right now, I think it's great that we have this addition instead of something being taken away from our communities and a way for people to feel celebrated and safe in a city, because there's so much question about, is it still safe to go to Fort Lauderdale or Miami or New York or any of these other places, that Philadelphia is standing up with something new and positive to bring out to our community.
You know, Philly is amazing, okay? It's got the bell. It's got so much history there, right? It's got the Rocky Steps, right? And there's something about finishing those Rocky Steps, right? I don't agree with Sylvester Stallone or any of his politics. I can't stand his wife. I can go on. But those steps, right? And Rocky and what it represented, right?
Absolutely.
Will always represent that, you know?
And I just want to fix the crack in the Liberty Bell.
Just want to put a little bit of glue.
There next month, and I was like, they said something about if I can do anything, including bringing some glue or something, I'm happy to do that. To fill in that crack and make it rain next year for the 250th anniversary.
I can see you there with the Gorilla Glue, right? Like just trying to put a patch on it. Glen Weinzimer arrested in Philly, you know.
Fixing the bell.
But you know, so I've been to Philly. Have you boys been? Pride at Philly is incredible. So much fun, real fun. And this visitor center is going to be right down the street from U-Bar. right? So it's like literally right in that little area of gayness, you know what I mean? So I think this is so perfect. And like, we don't get stories like this, Glenn, anymore. We get LGBT centers closed, you know what I mean? You know, people under threat, you know.
Crosswalks.
Jason, you represent a visitor center like this. How does this wash over you?
This is great. You know, since I took over the chamber and the visitor center in January of this year, we've seen an increased amount of foot traffic, an increased amount of phone calls. People are seeking out the LGBTQ visitor center, the Pride Visitor Center. And it's not just for people who are from out of town. We literally have locals walking their dog and they're like, hey, what's happening this weekend? They come to the visitor center. We have all of our chamber members, flyers, events, everything right there in one centrally located. It's also a safe place.
Right.
It's a safe place designated by Wilton Manors Police Department, nationally recognized. It's a staple in our community, and to have one right here in Fort Lauderdale, right here in Wilton Manors, you know, it might be a few hundred square feet, but it's a safe space that our community sees. We are seen, we are heard, everyone is welcome there. Come on by. I have cafecito, so it's always welcome.
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need is cafecito, honestly.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Jason Núñez, and let's queer up trans rights. Federal judge blocks Trump's trans ban, siding with schools in 16 states. A federal judge in Oregon has handed transgender students and inclusive schools a major legal victory. U.S. District Judge Ann Aiken announced that she intends to issue a preliminary injunction blocking the Trump administration's attempt to strip federal funding from schools that teach about gender identity or include transgender students in their policies. Judge Aiken denounced the administration's directive as a sort of separate but equal policy on sex education. The coalition of 16 states argued that the order of labeling transgender people false violated the Administrative Procedure Act and the Constitution's separation of powers. Over recent months, the Trump administration has threatened to withhold tens of millions of dollars from school districts that refuse to comply with its ban on so-called social transition. Districts from Virginia to New York refused. Denver's superintendent even declared that the district, quote, will protect all of their students from this hostile administration, end quote. The states behind the lawsuit include California, Maine, Massachusetts, and Oregon, among others. Their collective stand represents a broader pushback against federal efforts to penalize inclusion. For now, the ruling halts the administration's latest attempt to weaponize education funding against transgender students, affirming that equality in the classroom is not up for negotiation. You know, this is, you know, we'll take every win we can get nowadays.
Yeah, damn sure.
But recognizing, I mean, I applaud Denver. I applaud the states that are standing up, because I just recently had a chamber member who has a transgender child and literally had to flee. They flee a different state because their medication was banned, and they were getting harassed, literally harassed at school by school officials. Like, not just the students, school officials. It's absolutely insane. So I'm glad to see that it's a victory in some states, and hopefully it picks up nationwide.
Like, how dare you labeling somebody a human being?
False.
Like, take that in. That is like subhuman. Like, how, I mean, it's disgusting, you know? I mean, listen, I'll take the win, right? Just like Jason says, right? Because honestly, it's a win for common sense, for compassion, and for the freaking Constitution. How about that, right? So this judge just told the Trump team, you can't bully trans kids out of the classroom. Inclusion isn't political, it's freaking humanity. And to the school standing strong, bravo, baby, bravo. You're teaching courage in real time, and the grade is A++.
Yes.
It is. And of course, I'm going to take the other side. This is not, every time they get a win, it goes to the Supreme Court, and then they settle in on Trump anyway and what he's done. And so, although it's like a current win, I still am like, but then, so we take that win, and then we turn around. Next thing you know, he's at the Supreme Court with an emergency, and they act like in his favor, and then the funding doesn't happen. And he's cutting out funding without asking for permission.
Yeah.
So just because
it's all illegal. It doesn't make a difference, though. But nobody's stopping. Nobody's stopping him.
Funding.
Nobody's stopping him.
No.
Well, and he keeps on saying this, he keeps on calling it the Democratic shutdown, right? When it really is a Republican shutdown through and through. And so his way of holding us all hostage is basically saying that he's going to take the money from Democratic organizations, not any Republican, offices or anything like that.
And I think a lot of Democratic states or these like in the school areas, they're basically saying F you to Trump and his administration. And my hope is that they're finding local people in the community that will go ahead and give them the subsidies or the money that they need to continue this without the federal help. Because that would be the best thing that could happen, is that they don't need his money.
Yeah.
They don't need the federal government's money at this time. Yes, they could do more with it, but if they can just get enough private funding, then maybe we can keep these initiatives in Denver and other places in place.
It's also like a call to action to our small businesses,
Absolutely.
Individuals, philanthropic organizations. It's time for us to grassroots it. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like help each other out at,
And we all know
our
it's
local
a tough
level.
time.
It
Like,
is.
everyone is, their purse strings are tied. We don't have as much money. Everything costs more. So I think a lot of people want to help, but just don't necessarily have the resources. So you got to sort of rely not always on the smallest businesses, but anybody that can help, individuals.
And volunteering time is helping.
Yes, it is.
Volunteering time is helping.
Time, what is it?
Talent, treasure.
Time, talent, treasure. Time, talent, treasure.
Time, talent, treasure.
TTT. Okay, you have one of those to give. It's time to give it. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the world view. Mass suicide attempt in India highlights deep divisions within transgender community. A shocking incident in Indore, India has drawn international concern after 24 transgender individuals attempted mass suicide amid an escalating financial and power dispute between rival trans groups. Deputy Commissioner of Police Anand Kaladgi informed the media, quote, "We received information about a situation of ruckus at a house in Nandlapura where transgender persons reside. Our senior officers promptly arrived. 24 people were admitted to the nearby hospital," end quote. "All are now stable and receiving treatment." The day after, police arrested rival group leader Sapna Haji, also known as Sapna Guru, for assault and extortion. Her associates are also under investigation, with one accused of posing as a journalist to threaten and rape a trans woman. One survivor, Nia Nanwar, accused Haji of forcing trans members into bonded labor for 16 years. She warned, quote, "If the police and administration do not support us, the 300 transgender people in our camp will be forced to commit suicide," end quote. Local officials have urged a full investigation, calling the feud, quote, "tarnishing to the city's image." Wow. Well, this story out of India honestly breaks my heart. 24 trans people pushed to attempt suicide because of the abuse, exploitation, and being ignored and not seen. It's a gut punch that reminds us being trans anywhere in the world can still mean fighting just to live. Our community is global, and our fight for dignity has to be too. We see you, we stand with you, and it's horrifying to know that these folks didn't see any other way but to end their lives in this manner.
That they're fighting against themselves. I mean, two rival groups, both trans, if I'm not mistaken. So instead of working together to try to make their lives better, they end up spending time as like what we consider a gang and attacking each other. That doesn't get them further, and it certainly doesn't get them the publicity that they want to be included and that they're not different. This gives a label of just more hate, and they're fighting against their best interests.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy.
The force to commit suicide quote really just it took me so aback.
Yeah.
Like forced to commit suicide. I was like, wow, this story is beyond my imagination.
Like there's no other answer but that,
Wow.
I mean, there's got to be a way for, I know this, this story is a million miles away from us here in South Florida, right? But like my first thought is like, there's got to be a mediator. There's got to be someone that can have these people talk. I think locally, right? We'll have, a CEO of this organization, not like the CEO of this organization here, right? And we don't have the means to have that happen, right? So we find somebody, hey, you guys got to start talking tomorrow because we need you to collaborate, right?
Yes.
These are the times that we need to get together more than ever. I mean, LGBTQIA plus, Two-Spirit, everything, and our allies. If we're not together, we are in deep, deep trouble, just like India shows us.
Absolutely.
Well, as a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers. That's you for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up health. Shirtless Aussie firefighters heat up for a heartfelt cause. I'm not sure what that has to do with health, but give me a second, all right? Because it's going to increase your heart rate. Let's start there. For 33 years, the men of the Australian Firefighters calendar have gone shirtless for a cause, posing with adorable animals to raise money for charity. The 2026 edition continues that legacy, combining impressive photography with a charitable mission to support animal welfare, disaster recovery, and first responder well-being, both across Australia and the U.S. Proceeds aid the Pasadena Humane Society, Kerr County Relief Fund, Byron Bay Wildlife Hospital, and more. I'll leave you a second with that shirtless firefighter. Yeah. I love this, okay? And I need 3 calendars right now. You know, we all know what happened with the fires in California and all the pups and the cats and the pets that were affected. The Humane Society over there in Pasadena was just overrun and overwhelmed, and stuff like this helps them. So thank you to the Aussie firefighters for this for sure.
I didn't hear anything you said about the story. I was watching the visuals, and I have to tell you, like, wow, that was pretty hot.
Yeah, that's some heavy petting.
That was a lot of heavy petting. Yeah.
Jason?
It's great that people are actually using the platform for a cause. How dare you guys?
Right.
You were thinking the same thing. Don't kid yourself.
He was taking screenshots and everything.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up gay culture. From brooms to black cats, the origin of witch iconography. As gay Christmas nears, we mean Halloween. Witches take center stage. Pointed hats, broomsticks and all. And we don't just mean the movie Wicked, which is coming next month. And these images have deep roots in gay imagery itself. In the 1500s, broomsticks marked alehouses run by women, later linked to witches on broomsticks by misogynistic texts like Malleus Maleficarum. Cauldrons, once used for healing herbs, became symbols of dark magic as women healers were discredited. The tall black hat likely came from Welsh women's dress, while loose, scraggly hair marked rebellion against good Christian norms. And black cats? They were said to be demons in disguise, fed with blood from their owners' breasts. Once vilified, these images now celebrate feminine power and queer resilience. The world's most famous witch's pointed hat will be front and center as Elphaba comes to the big screen in Wicked for Good, which premieres November 21st. Wow. You know, the iconography of witch and witchcraft has really taken hold in a much bigger way, I found, in recent years. And maybe it's not just the Wicked. I know a lot of people and friends who are witches and do all kinds of witchcraft. So,
what kind of people you've been hanging with lately,
like
Dale?
Move my window over.
yeah, I know. I mean, I have one, not to make this too long, I have one friend who has a black pointed hat he wears like all around, like almost everywhere. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I believe it. I need to know who the hell this is, though. I mean, you know, I only have black hats, right? So does that make me a witch?
No.
No, the movie
But
Flow,
if you had a hat on right now, it would. It's not going to happen.
Where's my hat, Steve? Give me my hat.
Yeah, where's that hat?
Oh, look. Well, anyway, I think it's horrible that they vilified, looking back, they vilified women from ages ago. Like, this is one of those things, it was bar owners that were women were witches.
Right.
No, so it's, again, women trying to get ahead, and then they're not just faulted for it, but then they're deemed as witches, as
100%. Yes. And these women had cats as pets, right?
Right.
To get the rats away. That was the reason why they had cats, was for them because they had rats, and rats brought disease and all of that. So they weren't listening to the women to begin with.
Right.
If they were members of my chamber, I would have made the connection with pesticides and stuff, but they didn't join the chamber. There we go.
You would have got a drag queen to make them a hat, right?
Correct. I would have hooked them up. They would have had no rats. And they would have been appropriately dressed.
And that's why I love Bewitched, because she gave me a positive outlook on witches.
Oh, I loved Bewitched.
Right?
And the nose thing.
Yeah. And
I could never do
can't
that.
do
And
that
Dora.
either. And
Dora.
Yeah, lesbian.
Which is also a great Halloween costume, by the way, in case you haven't thought of one. You see?
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up faith. Ohio pastor who condemned LGBTQ plus books charged with child rape. An Ohio pastor who once called being LGBTQ plus a health risk has been charged with child rape. 48-year-old Silas Shelton, pastor of Blanchester Community Church, faces 4 felony counts, including rape and sexual battery. Police say he assaulted a teenage girl from his congregation between 2019 and this year. This was at the same time as his condemnation of the queer community's danger to American society. He's pleaded not guilty and is being held on a $2 million bond as the investigation continues. Police urge anyone with information to come forward. This is a sad story, and it's also just highlights the hypocrisy that we see in blaming LGBTQ for changing other people's lives. We have an agenda.
Ruining their marriages or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Eliminating gay marriage and recognition and that we're terrible people. And as usual, a story comes out and it's the straight pastor that's going ahead. Now, not all people in the cloth are bad. I mean, we know so many people that are great, but there just seems to be a highlight that there are more people that do more danger than we as an LGBTQ community within the faith.
Yeah, and I read a news story every day from somebody in the GOP. I mean, every day, at least one, if not 2 or 3. And not always of the cloth, but people who have always condemned the LGBTQ community for what it is doing and how it is ruining the world. And they are the ones who are they're pointing the fingers. They've got 3 pointing back. That's the phrase. While you point a finger at me, there are 3 pointing back at you.
Right. 3 pointing back at them, and then Trump will appoint them to a seat.
Yeah.
Because that's basically how that goes. So this story sucks. Not a drag queen, not a trans person doing this, okay?
Nope.
Get his name right. Silas Shelton. S-I-L-A-S Shelton. S-H-E-L-T-O-N. I hope you have this in closed captioning so you could see his name across your screen as the disgusting, despicable man that this gentleman, I won't even call him a gentleman, that this male is. One more time, Silas Shelton.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up gay culture. Halloween history, as this gay director was behind some of the biggest 1930s horror films. As Halloween celebrates all things eerie, one gay filmmaker deserves the spotlight for shaping cinematic fear itself. In the 1930s, British-born James Whale brought monsters to life with Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, and Bride of Frankenstein, defining the look and feel of horror still haunting screens today. Openly gay in an unforgiving era, Whale lived for 23 years with his partner David Lewis. His film spoke for society's outsiders, misunderstood, feared, yet unforgettable. As costumes and chills fill the season, remember, Halloween's haunting spirit still owes much to Whale, an out gay man who made monsters human. We're history. Like it's amazing. It's our Christmas, as Dale likes to put it, and just to know that something that is so celebrated globally was originated or kind of inspired by a gay man. And yet, here we are in today's world where people are trying to erase us, but they enjoy all of the things that we create, all of our creative.
Right.
Forever and ever. 1930s, right? And then you think about the movies that he made, like what he was going through, The Invisible Man. Don't we feel that way sometimes?
Yeah.
Frankenstein, like we feel like a freak, like we're like from another dimension. Like back in the 30s, he was telling our story, folks. Isn't that like crazy? Wicked would have never, ever been a thought without these movies from back in the 1930s.
And the symbolism, like in Wicked, is astonishing. Yeah. Because we are the odd ones out. We're those weird people, the disformed.
Thank you, James Whale. LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up gay culture. Rush announces a new men-only sex-positive gay cruise on its way. A new player is turning up the heat on the gay cruise scene. Rush announced its debut at San Francisco's Folsom Street Fair, promising unapologetically sex-progressive vacations for men who crave more than a getaway. The company says its 3- and 4-night cruises and fetish events will celebrate sex, stimulation, seduction, submission, and satisfaction. The sex positive or maybe sex forward cruises are designed for gay, bi, and pan men, but also those who are male identifying. You are welcome to visit the brand's website, which offers early signups at Rush, that's RU5H.com. The first all-gay big ship getaway launches in mid-December. Well, I don't know if they're the first, but I will say, who doesn't need another sex cruise?
Well,
that doesn't allow me to go on it.
Right. You were not in the list of invitees.
Right.
You were not on that list.
But trust me, I don't want to.
Miss Thing, you are not on the list tonight.
You are not on the list tonight.
Right. No, but I did one on an Atlantis cruise in 1998 or 1999. So no, but this one is billing itself as much more sex progressive and positive. So it's going to be even more so than they are. So that's kind of shocking.
So the other ones, you have to put a handkerchief on the door, or you have to leave something on the door, or a sign on the door. I know too much.
Or leave the door open.
Okay? But you can't. The doors don't stay open on these cruises.
Hello,
God, Glenn.
Anyway, find a way.
Even I know that. But anyway, so it's not that it's hidden. It's known that that's a fun kind of cruise. I love that they're being open about this, right? Like they're saying this is a cruise to get laid.
Right.
This is a cruise to be naked. Bring all your harnesses and little clothing.
And your fetishes and all that stuff.
You already don't sleep on a cruise, and this one's 3 or 4 days?
Yeah. Oof. I always call the cruise, the Atlantis cruise, is 7 days and 1 night. That's what I call them. So this is going to be something like that.
Yeah.
Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. And these anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ plus community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Dale Stine, Glen Weinzimer, and Jason Núñez. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative, and of course, being queer. Good night.